Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video we'll see shortest remaining time first algorithm. Also call it as SRTF algorithm. The another name for this SRTF algorithm is SJF with preemption. Guys, in the earlier videos we have seen one of the algorithm called SJF, which means shortest job first algorithm, where by default it will be a non-preemption algorithm, means they won't forcefully thrown from the CPU. And another kind of SJF is preemptive algorithm that we will see in this particular video. What the SJF will do? SJF will select the best process. In what factors will select the best process? The process which have less burst time will be selected. Right? So here the mode will be preemptive mode and criteria will be burst time. Let's take the example so that you can get clear idea. So I will try to draw the Gantt chart for it. So if you assume this as a CPU, its initially CPU time starts with 0. At the arrival time of 0, what are the processor available? P1 is available, right? So P1 will get the chance, and will execute for 1 unit of time. The reason is, when it completes 1 unit of time, there will be one more process readily available, right? As the P1 process is executed one time, so the leftover burst time is 7, right? Now by the time of 1 unit, there will be two processes available. One is P1, another one is P2. Out of these two processes, which one will get the first chance? The process which have the less burst time, that is P2, right? So P2 will enter into the CPU by throwing the P1 outside. So P1 executed for one more time, that is its burst time leftover is 5, right? Now the time is 2. By the time of 2 nanoseconds, what are the processors available in the CPU? These are the processes available in the CPU, right? As these are available, which one will get the first chance? The processor which have the less burst time, right? If you take the process 2 and process 3, both having the same burst time. When both having the same burst time, we have to give the priority to the process which came at the earliest. So I will give chance to P2, right? If I allocate 1 unit of time, it will reduce by 1 and the time now will be 3 units, right? By the time of 3 units, what are the processors available in the ready state? Process 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? Now out of these 4 processes, which burst time is very less? The process 4 burst time is very less. So chance will be given to process 4, and once it done 1 unit of time, it will be the leftover is 2 units. By the time of 4 units completion, what are the processors available in the ready state? These 4 or 5 are in the ready state, right? Out of these, which one having the very less burst time? Process P5, right? So P5 will get the chance for 1 unit of time. It should be 5. When it will be allocated 1 unit of time, the leftover is 0, means process P5 completed its task. Okay, fine. Now by the time of completion of 5 units, what are the processes available now in the ready state? Only P1, P2, P3 and P4. Which one having the very less burst time? P4 having the less burst time. I will allocate 1 unit of time, that is 6. And by the time of 6 units, what are the processes available in the ready state? P1, P2, P3, P4 and P6. But out of this P1, P2, P3, P4 and P6, which one having the less burst time? Again P4, right? So if I allocate again P4 1 unit, it will done its task, means P4 is completed. Now by the time of 7 units, P1, P2, P3 and P6 are available. if you are able to clearly understood it, the process which have the less burst time will always going to be executed, right? So I can say P6 is having a very less burst time, so I will allocate 2 units, then it will be done, right? Earlier we are allocating only 1 unit of time because there might be another process which may be equated or which may have higher priority. That's the reason we are trying to allocate 1 unit of time. Now when I am going to go with P6 process, 2 units is very less compared to all the processes, and there is no other process which is coming in the near future. That's the reason I made it directly 2 units. Okay. Next, by the time of 9 units, what are the processes available? P1, P2 and P3. Which is having less burst time? P2. So P2 will be allocated 4 units of time, then it will be 0. Then P3 will be allocated 5 units of time, it will be 18. Then P1 will be allocated, that will be 25. Right? This is the Gantt chart for the given data set. Right? Based on the Gantt chart, you can able to answer any kind of question. So for example, what is the schedule length of the process? Right? Completion time, maximum completion time of all process minus minimum or arrival time of all process, which is something like maximum completion time of all process is 25, minimum arrival time is 0, that is 25 is the schedule length. Based on that, you can able to calculate throughput, which is N by L. Right? So if you want to make it clear understanding, just go with the earlier videos so that you can get the clear reading. Total number of processes are 6 and schedule length will be 25. Like that, you can able to calculate various kind of factors what you want. Right? Hope you understood this particular video clearly. Thank you.